Do you know what rescue bracelets are and why you should use them at the beach? Hello and welcome to Volusia Magazine. I'm Amber Patterson. Rescue bracelets stand for Reuniting Everyone Safely and Quickly, and we'll see why they're such a great tool for Volusia County's Beach Safety Division. We'll also take a look at ways the Volusia County Library can help you stretch your budget and what's on the calendar at the county's Ocean Center. Later on in the show, health reporter Stephanie Strong will take a look at the leading causes of death here in Volusia County. And finally, Community Information Director Dave Byron is joined in the studio by his guest, Jeff Smith, Director of Volusia County's Fire Rescue. Those segments, news, and more coming right up on Volusia Magazine. Stay tuned. On a busy beach weekend, it's not unusual for a dozen children to go missing temporarily on Volusia County's beaches. Children can get lost on the beach because of the crowds, or they may be pulled by the current. Even a small distraction can cause a parent to lose track of their child. During the 2014 summer season, dozens of missing children were reported to Volusia County lifeguards. Fortunately, lifeguards found the children and returned them to their happy parents safe and sound. In most cases, the child asks a lifeguard for help, but sometimes they're too young to describe their parents or the vehicle they arrived in. It may take lifeguards a few minutes to a few hours to find the parents. To speed up the reunification process, Volusia County's Beach Safety Division has introduced rescue bracelets. Rescue stands for Reuniting Everyone Safely and Quickly. Parents can pick up the bright yellow waterproof disposable bracelets at toll booths and lifeguard towers. They're asked to write their child's name and their cell phone number on the bracelet for quick identification and notification.
One of my officers, Officer Sasha Medina, came to me one morning and said she had an idea of how we can reunite children back with the parents. We struggle with an issue on the weekends and the holiday weekends when it's really busy down here. We struggle with the fact of children get separated from the parents. And we go, and it's very stressful for our guards and our officers trying to reunite these people back together. So Officer Medina came in with an idea of a bracelet, and she actually came up with an acronym called RESCUE, Reuniting Everyone Safely and Quickly.
I've actually seen it be used before in other similar life-saving agencies and thought that we would be able to benefit from the use of this bracelet as well. This is also going to benefit elderly people suffering from Alzheimer's, dementia, or some other adult mental illness that sometimes may walk away or get separated from the party that they're with as well.
Volusia County's Beach Safety Division offers additional tips to help keep track of children and find them if they wander off. First, monitor them closely at all times. Mark a spot on the beach with a large, colorful umbrella that can be identified easily. Show the child a hotel or other nearby landmark. Tell children to go to a lifeguard if they become lost. Take a photo of the child at the beach. This will help lifeguards find your child because they'll see what they're wearing and know exactly what they look like. If your child does go missing, go immediately to the nearest lifeguard tower for assistance. For more information about the Beach Safety Division, you can visit volusia.org/beach. You work hard for your money. Why not make your money work just as hard for you? Money Smart Week, April 18th through the 25th at the Volusia County Public Library System helps people learn how to stretch their dollars. The county's 13 library branches will host more than 70 Money Smart programs ranging from story times for children to Medicare advice for seniors. High school students can learn how to save money for college, while adults can sign up for a Social Security account. Financial advisors will share information about investments and identity theft, and a professional couponer will offer tips on maximizing your savings with coupons.
Throughout the library system, we have a lot of good material, whether that's in paper format or periodicals or some of our online resources to help our residents plan their financial future and to explore ways to get out of debt, to save for the future. So we invite all of our residents to visit a library and let us help you access these items.
Money Smart Week is a national public awareness campaign designed to help consumers better manage their personal finances. For a complete list of local library programs, you can visit volusia.org/money-smart. Thousands of people will visit Volusia County in the coming weeks to attend sporting and convention events at the Ocean Center in Daytona Beach. The National Cheerleading Association and National Dance Association Collegiate Cheer and Dance Championship just wrapped up after a 5-day competition, and the International Championship will take place April 18th. Angela Daniels, Sales and Marketing Director for the Ocean Center, said this annual cheer and dance competition is one of the biggest.
This event has grown since the beginning when they first started to come to Daytona Beach, but we are now bringing in more than 10,000 attendees, spectators, and athletes. Another plus with this event, this is televised nationally. It gives great exposure for the Daytona Beach area and the Ocean Center and the County of Volusia.
In addition, the National Association of County Engineers and the American Public Works Association will hold a joint annual conference and expo at the Ocean Center April 20th through 22nd. NACE is a nonprofit, nonpartisan professional association of nearly 2,000 county engineers, road managers, and related professionals in the U.S. and in Canada. The American Public Works Association serves professionals in all aspects of public works and in a worldwide membership of 28,500. This convention is expected to draw about 950 delegates, guests, and exhibitors. For more information about the Ocean Center list of events, you can log on to oceancenter.com.
I'm Joshua Wagner with the Volusia County Council. If you're going to one of our beautiful beaches, have a great day and come back often. If you drive on the beach, please observe the 10-mile-per-hour speed limit and be very careful of pedestrians, especially children. If you're visiting with children, watch them constantly and take small children by the hand when crossing traffic lanes. You might want to use one of our traffic-free zones. For more beach information, please visit volusia.org.
Economic development and business leaders in East Volusia County are urging residents to rediscover US 1, America's Business Highway. Reporter Joanne Magley has more about it in this week's Business Beat.
From Ormond Beach to Oak Hill, economic development leaders are working together to promote businesses on US 1. Joe Manarino, Economic Development Director for Ormond Beach, says he and others hope a scavenger hunt will help residents rediscover US 1.
With the advent of shopping centers and malls, a lot of the business is redirected. So we thought, since we're all doing economic development efforts in our communities, why not try something to refocus the attention right along the corridor again.
The scavenger hunt is called Rediscover US 1, and it's the brainchild of South Daytona's redevelopment director, Patty Rippey.
Last year I did a scavenger hunt just in the city of South Daytona, and then I had an idea that it might be good to do a regional project. The TPO, the Local Transportation Planning Organization, has done a study on the US 1 corridor, and a lot of the cities along US 1 have CRAs, and I thought it would be a good project, a good activity to bring attention to US 1.
Rediscover US 1 also promotes the history of the area, like the New Bethel Church, which was established in 1885. The scavenger hunt promotes a historic landmark and 4 businesses in each city.
Participants get a copy of the questions and they visit each business and find out what the answer to the question is, and then they turn the forms in at the end and they are entered into a random drawing to win prizes.
The forms are available at the city halls of the 8 participating cities, from chambers of commerce, or from the Facebook page Rediscover US 1, America's Business Highway.
But this tells the dates, April 11th through 19th, and it explains how to answer the questions And then on the back it has the actual questions and a place for people to write the answers to the questions.
Rick Frazier, Executive Director of the Ormond Beach Chamber of Commerce, says he believes this collaboration effort will help inform people of what's going on and what's available on US 1.
One of the things we have to do with our members, Joanne, is to make sure they get a return on their investment, their membership dues. And this is one way that we think we can drive people who maybe have never been in the business before to come to a place like River Grill and see what it's about, and maybe come back and have dinner or lunch. And same thing with the furniture stores and everything else. That let's expose people who might not know that the business is there and what they do.
As with many businesses, those on US 1 have felt the effects of the recent recession. But Rippey says, as one of America's oldest business corridors, US 1 has a lot to offer.
We have a lot of mom and pop businesses, especially in South Daytona. We have some maybe lower rents in that area, but we also have the potential for a lot of growth, especially on the riverfront. So we want to have an active business community that's visited by all of our citizens.
For the Business Beat, I'm Joanne Magley.
Rediscover US 1 runs through April 19th. For more information, you can visit the websites of any of the East Volusia cities. The Florida Department of Health here in Volusia County has issued a data brief that takes a closer look at the leading causes of death in Volusia County. Stephanie Strong examines this report and the leading causes of death in this segment of Community Health Matters.
The Florida Department of Health in Volusia County has issued a data brief taking a closer look at the leading causes of death in Volusia County.
We frequently look at the leading causes of death, and unfortunately, heart disease is by far and away the most common cause of death of all folks in Volusia County as well as Florida and across the nation.
According to the data brief released by DOH Volusia's Office of Informatics and Assessment, heart disease is the leading cause of death in Volusia County.
50 years ago, the leading killers were infections, but now that we have such great vaccines and antibiotics, folks are now living long enough to die of heart disease.
The term heart disease refers to several types of heart conditions. The most common type in the United States is coronary artery disease, which can cause heart attack, angina, heart failure, and arrhythmias.
What prevents heart disease is eating well, being physically active, avoiding smoking, and making sure that if you have high cholesterol or high blood pressure, that it's adequately treated.
The second leading cause of death in Volusia County is lung cancer.
Again, it used to be mostly men who died of lung cancer, but since women started taking up the tobacco habit, women now are also dying of lung cancer. And the number one preventable cause of cancer as well as death is tobacco. So avoiding tobacco is the best way to live a long, high-quality life.
Overall, Volusia County had a 14% higher rate of death than Florida. The 2012 Volusia County age-adjusted death rates exceeded each of Florida's top 10 causes of death. More than half of the 6,295 Volusia County deaths in 2012 were attributed to the top 10 causes of death. The top causes of death in Volusia County are as follows: heart disease, lung cancer, unintentional injuries, COPD, dementia, diabetes, Alzheimer's disease, stroke, colon cancer, and failure to thrive. Furthermore, the 5 leading causes accounted for 45.6% of all Volusia County deaths. Heart disease was 11.6% higher in Volusia County than in Florida. Heart disease led all other rates. It was at least 180% greater than the next leading cause of death for Volusia and Florida. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Stephanie Strong, Public Information Officer for the Florida Department of Health in Volusia County.
As always, if you have any questions about this or any other health-related issues, you can log on to volusiahealth.com. Time now to head into the studio to join our very own Community Information Director, Dave Byron, as he sits down for a chat with Jeff Smith, Director of Volusia County's Fire Rescue.
Well, thanks, Amber, and hi, everyone. You know, among the most difficult decisions the Volusia County Council faces this year is dealing with the budget for fire rescue services the county provides in unincorporated Volusia County. Ultimately, it looks like it's going to come down to raising more money through property tax increases or cutting services to non-city residents. Of course, neither of these choices brings any comfort to the County Council, but that's the picture the County Council faces when the budget season rolls around this fall. In preparation, the county recently held a series of public listening sessions for residents in unincorporated Volusia County. Today, we'll find out what the citizens reacted and how they reacted to this issue. Our guest in the studio is Jeff Smith. He's the director of Volusia County Fire Rescue. Chief, how you doing?
I'm doing good, Dave. Thank you.
Hey, let's start with kind of a general picture for people that don't understand how all of this budget stuff comes together. Let's talk about what Volusia County Fire Services does, you know, kind of how you're composed and that sort of thing.
Well, we operate out of 20 fire stations around Volusia County in the unincorporated area and the 3 cities of Lake Helen, Oak Hill, and Pearson.
Right.
980 square miles, advanced life support, wildfire, tech rescue, hazmat countywide.
And I'm thinking with that number of square miles and that number of stations, it must put you as the largest fire rescue agency in the county, doesn't it?
We are the largest. We have the largest land mass. Our average coverage from a fire station standpoint is right at 49 square miles.
Wow. And Chief, I think I remember that in the course of a year, your folks can respond to something like 16,000 calls.
A little over 16,000 last year. 72% of those are for EMS type calls, advanced life support, basic life support, about 4,500 fire, MVA, auto extrication type calls.
And of course, one of the responsibilities that your agency has that perhaps the cities don't have to any degree that you do, and that is there's a lot of rural area, and so therefore when you get into woodland fire season, you guys along with the Division of Forestry are right there.
We do, and as you identified, that is one of our big problems because those fires last for days, sometimes weeks.
Right.
That's a big demand on our ability to provide coverage to other areas. But we average historically about 170 wildfires a year.
And under the system that Volusia County has, it's defined as a 2-tiered system. When someone calls 911, they've had a medical event, automobile accident, a house fire, whatever. Usually there are multiple agencies that are toned out, the fire department and the ambulance service, evac.
Right, depending on what the circumstances are, a fire department station or engine may be closer, therefore they can respond faster if it's a medical emergency. In our case, in the rural areas, the 2 bookends of the county, we provide transport from Station 44 and Station 22 in order to provide that service a little better.
And let's clarify for the viewers, 44 and 22, just describe those geographically.
Those are the bookends, or that's what I call the bookends. Pearson is 44 in the northwest, and District 22 is the southeast down in Oak Hill.
Right. So let's talk about budget, because this is going to get down for the county council. This is going to get down to be a budget decision. Let's talk about the budget. What is the county fire budget, and how do you fund that?
This year, our fire fund is bringing in $20.6 million in revenue, and our expenditure based upon the level of service is $22.2 million. That is ad valorem funded through the taxpayers of the unincorporated area of Volusia County, population of about 115,000. 74% of those properties are residential, and it is a dependent tax district, so it's a standalone taxing system that brings in revenue solely for use for fire protection.
Now, when you say taxing system, let's be clear. When you say that, you're really talking about property taxes. Ad valorem is a Latin term for property taxes.
Yes,
correct.
Sir.
So,
correct.
I mean, the bottom line is you're funded with property taxes.
Yes, sir, for the unincorporated area.
And Chief, you know, rightly so, a lot of people look at the county budget and see something well in excess of $600 million every year, and you're dealing with a challenge of funding county fire services at roughly $22 million a year.
That's right.
They might be saying, well, you know, just take some of that $600 million and prop up the fire budget, but that's really doesn't work that way.
That's correct. We experienced that conversation with some of those outreach meetings we had. You cannot take from Peter to pay Paul, if you will. It has to be standalone fire fund generated revenue.
Right.
So that's why they have to, legally, they got to keep those two issues separate.
And legally, I think what you mean, and correct me if I don't understand this, but you can't collect taxes from, let's say, out of the county's general fund, which is paid for by all property owners, whether they're in the city or unincorporated Volusia. So you can't collect property taxes from a city resident and apply that to a service that is only is available in the unincorporated area. Is that basically what we're saying?
Yes, sir. Exactly.
So the option to be able to take revenue out of the general fund or other sources in county government's budget is just not on the table.
That's right.
So, I guess the next question that citizens would want to know is that, okay, well, if like my own personal budget, if I'm running a deficit in my budget, then maybe I need to cut some expenses. And so I understand that you guys have done a number of things to reduce expenses.
We have, since the downturn, we've actually reduced our daily staffing by 25%. We have modernized our equipment. We've reduced our fleet by 29 units, and we've looked for everything that we possibly can and still provide the same level of service. So
right.
we've done a lot of things.
So we're talking about the fact that we said at the opening that it's just really going to get down to two difficult choices for the county council. One is they're going to have to either beef up the fire budget with more taxes, or they're going to have to reduce the cost of fire services, which means ultimately reducing services, correct?
That's right. And we went out, we took our the road show on the road, if you will. We met with 9 different communities,
right, and
described the circumstances. We let them understand what was going on, how we got here, and what is the solution. And I said a few times that it's an uncomfortable conversation, but it's transparent. We've done everything we can, Dave, and now we're at that point, the fork in the road, where we either have to make a decision. Are we going to stay at the funding level that we are currently at, or are we going to fund it at the service level that we're providing right now?
Mm-hmm.
And that would entail either closing 4 fire stations or funding us, and the manager has identified 45 cents increase on the taxable value per $1,000 of taxable value as a means of being able to continue the service level.
All right, well, let's look at the reduction in services first. I think you just said that among the options to cut costs of your budget would be to close 4 fire stations.
That's correct.
And I guess you've identified on a map where those stations would be.
Yes, we did. We did a lot of research, evaluated what would be the acceptable risk for us to sustain and still provide a really good level of service, and that's what we've identified.
But, I mean, it would stand to reason. I mean, thinking like a citizen out there, if you have 4 fewer fire stations, it would seem to me that you would have to spread your coverage area out over fewer stations, which I think would logically assume that there might be some delayed response.
Well, there will be. You reduce your capacity by 20% when you do that, and for us, wildfire events, any of those big major occurrences where we have to have a surge, we would lose that 20% of capacity for surge. Those campaign wildfires that were in the field for a week or so, that would definitely transfer into longer response times everywhere.
Right.
So even though your station may not be closed, you would be affected. And then we basically touched on the neighboring cities and municipalities. They would be affected by us not being there as well, because we do support each other in our operations.
Well, let's say you did that. Let's say that that's the ultimate choice of the county council, to not raise the taxes and close these 4 fire stations. Do you think with 4 fewer fire stations you could still meet the need in a safe manner out there, Chief?
We could still meet we could meet the demand and provide a very good level of service. It will not be what it is now.
Right. Well, let's look at the other side. The other option for the county council, as you just said, is to prop up the budget with more money, which would be a tax increase, and only paid by property owners in unincorporated Volusia, not talking about the cities. And again, let's repeat what that tax increase could be.
45 cents. per 1,000.
Okay, so 45 cents per 1,000 of assessed value, which I think you calculated out for the average homeowner would be somewhere between 35 and 50 bucks a year.
Yes, sir.
All right, so that lays out what the issues are, and that's what you laid out in these 9 public meetings.
Yes.
To the citizens out there, and you asked the citizens to give you their thoughts, and it kind of, okay, citizens, you got to make the choice. Let's say you were making the decision, what would you prefer? More taxes or less service? And what did they tell you?
92% of the responders were favorable, and were in agreement with the 45-cent increase.
So I know you went to the county council recently and just updated the county council on how the meetings went, and I think from what I heard, Chief, the citizens, I think, were glad that you went out and met with them in the evening and went around unincorporated county. Maybe not everyone liked the message, but I think they appreciated the fact you guys made the effort to keep them in the loop, inform them.
Yes, and I think that the transparency, the willingness to meet the citizens at their level and discuss the conversation, answer questions that they may have. I also want to say that we had council members that were present at the meetings and were there to interact with the constituents as well, which went a long way. And overall, it was a really good process.
So you recently briefed the county council on what the public had to say. Where do we stand with all this now, Chief?
Well, we're going to wait, and the manager will be setting the trim rate in July. The budget will be adopted in September. There's been discussion, I'm sure, at the executive level up there, and they will continue to probably look at some issues that need to be addressed, and then comparison with what the ad valorem is, or what the taxable values are, and then everybody's working on their budget, which we are as well. We've just submitted our budget, so those are all things that will be considered, and then the council will have a decision to make.
For those folks, Chief, that may not couldn't attend those meetings, maybe hearing this for the first time, there is a place where they can get additional information and avail themselves of all this background material. How do people get more information, Chief?
They go to volusia.org and click on Fire Services website. We have a PowerPoint program there that they can go through and see everything that we had. We also have copies of the taped meetings, so if the folks would like to hear how the citizens actually interacted and asked questions and our responses, that's available as well. So it's still there, Dave.
Sounds like it's going to be a tough decision for the county council, but it also sounds like a lot of groundwork has been done. So, Chief, I want to thank you and appreciate the fact that you've been here to explain this to us.
Well, thank you for having me, and we appreciate the support and the opportunity to get the word out.
Our guest today, Jeff Smith, he's the director of Volusia County Fire Rescue. And with that, we'll go back to you, Amber.
Thanks, Dave, and thank you for watching Volusia Magazine. If you have any questions about the show, you can feel free to give us a call at any of the numbers you see listed here, or you can log on to volusia.org and click on the News tab at the top of the screen to find us. Incidentally, you can find the County Council's meeting calendar there too. In fact, you can use volusia.org to find out about meeting dates, workshops, topics of interest, activities, and how you can become involved. And we hope you won't forget to listen to Volusia Today. That's Volusia County Government's weekly public radio broadcast. Volusia Today airs every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Sunday mornings on the local radio stations you see on your screen. For Volusia Magazine, I'm Amber Patterson. Have a wonderful evening.